Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere. Akwath and Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathens and look like these heathens. Now this lesson is going to be based on this article in regards to the severe storms that have targeted the plains with threats of large hail and damaging winds kicking off multi-day risk. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, give some precepts, and Lord's will you're edified. It says parts of the central U.S. are once again at risk of severe thunderstorms beginning Wednesday. That comes after at least 75 tornadoes tore across the heartland during last Friday's severe weather outbreak, destroying homes and causing hundreds of thousands of power outages. According to NOAA's Storm Prediction Center, storms capable of producing tornadoes, hail, and damaging wind gusts are most likely to form from northern Texas to South Dakota on Wednesday before shifting to a larger and more intensified threat on Thursday, spanning from Oklahoma to Minnesota. This month has been packed with active weather, bringing a parade of multi-day severe storms across the central U.S. This past week alone has brought at least 75 confirmed tornadoes to the region, including some rated as high as EF3, with surveys from the National Weather Service ongoing. Storms also produced damaging winds topping 85 miles per hour, large hail greater than 3 inches in diameter, and destructive flooding across Wisconsin and Michigan. Cities and towns in Missouri, Illinois, Slovakia, demons are active. Says cities and towns in Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota all confirmed structural damage to homes and buildings, as well as downed trees and power lines Friday. After a much-needed break, the heartland is bracing for the next series of storms as an area of low pressure moves through the Rockies. The dynamic system will kick off a multi-day severe weather marathon, bringing isolated severe storms later Wednesday before firing up a more significant risk of severe weather heading into the weekend. Later on Wednesday, strong southerly winds ahead of a dry line will move some Gulf moisture northward, supporting the development of showers and thunderstorms across a large portion of the high plains. This has prompted a level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk for the area. By Thursday, the system will lift north into southern Canada and push east, allowing the severe threat to expand. From southern Minnesota to northern Oklahoma, a level 2 out of 5 severe storm threat has been issued, including 10 million Americans. Extending south from the low-pressure system in southern Canada, a cold front will be positioned from the Dakotas into Kansas. Storms are expected to fire off along the advancing cold front across eastern Nebraska into western Iowa before expanding both north and south through the evening. Ahead of the front, ample instability will develop through the afternoon, setting the stage for significant energy to fuel severe storms. Right now, the biggest severe storm threat looks to be very large hail and damaging wind gusts. Some major cities, including Slovakia, Says some major cities included in these threats are Kansas City, Omaha, and Wichita. Farther south, a developing dry line will be the primary focus for severe storm development. However, the Fox Forecast Center notes that the threat remains somewhat conditional as uncertainty persists regarding the exact timing and location of storm initiation. An atmospheric cap is expected to suppress storm development through much of the day due to limited forcing along the dry line. A secondary surface low forecast to develop near the triple point in northwest Oklahoma and southwest Kansas may serve as the southern extent of the more organized severe threat and could be the key factor in allowing storms to break through the cap. Additionally, a second wave of storms is expected to approach the southern plains overnight into Friday, which could help sustain storm activity into the late evening hours. Any storms that do develop may produce very large hail as the primary hazard, though a few tornadoes are possible. As storms continue into the evening and overnight hours, a line of severe storms is expected to develop from southern Minnesota southward into portions of North Texas. Severe weather is expected to continue through the weekend as the overall pattern supports further storm development. Yeah, so basically, those people in those different regions, those different areas, they just have to brace for impact because they're about to get hit with a whole lot of storms. Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm, and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And that's what that article was talking about. How there's just a lot of storms that are headed those people's way. A lot of rain, hail, tornadoes, possibly flooding. Yeah, it's about to get real bad and destructive and potentially even deadly in those areas because the Lord is visiting them. Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And that article talked about how, there could be hail. These storms could be destructive and, destroy more homes, more buildings. The rain, the torrential rain from these storms could cause flash floods. And, through the spirit, I've been saying that, as this weather gets warmer, these storms were going to get intensified. And basically, that's what the article was saying, was that, it's just more round after round of storms and tempests headed those people's way. Psalms 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. And the Lord he is unleashing a horrible tempest. When you look up the definition of tempest, it means a violent windy storm. And tornadoes are a part of that. Tornadoes are a form of tempest. And like the article was saying, like it says, at least 75 tornadoes tore across the heartland during last Friday's severe weather outbreak, destroying homes and causing hundreds of thousands of power outages. So the Lord is not playing. And best believe that number of tornadoes is going to increase. It could go from 75 to 100. You know, that's how you know that we're living in the last days, because everything is getting intensified. The earthquakes, the fires, the storms and tempests. The Lord is turning things up a couple of notches. Psalms 83:14, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. Verse 15, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. And there's no getting around the fact that that's exactly what's happening. The Lord dishing out all these tornadoes, the hail, the lightning, the rain. This is the Lord's judgment right here. All the destruction and the potential deaths that will come from these storms and tempests. Psalms 9:16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Hegayon Selah. Yeah. And like I read in Isaiah 29:6, it clearly states that the Lord would visit with storms and tempests. So when these storms and tempests are hitting, it's not Mother Nature or whoever else, these simple minded people want to give credit to. These are the storms and tempests of the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Nobody else. Isaiah 48:22. There is no peace, saith the Lord Yahweh, unto the wicked. And that's right. There is no peace unto these wicked people. Just non-stop miseries. Whether it's earthquakes, fires, storms and tempests. Whether, it's shootings or stabbings. Whether it's them not being able to go to sporting events or concerts or parades or go on vacation. Whether it's their favorite bar or their favorite club getting shut down. Whether it's, the cost of living increasing and these people can't afford to pay all their bills. So now they're like really struggling and going through it. There is no peace for these people. You see, although those of us of the Hope Select, we live here, those of us who do live here in America, and honestly, those of us of the Hope Select who live wherever in the world, those great miseries from the Lord are coming. The Lord is going to unleash his wrath upon all the earth. But see, the difference is those of us of the Hope Select, we're going to have the Lord's hedge of protection over us. So no matter how bad things get, we have faith that the Lord is going to, guide us and continue to provide for us and protect us. So we're not really worried about what's coming. But these simple-minded, wicked people out here with whom the Lord is angry with, they're the ones who are in the Lord's target sights. They're the ones who his wrath is about to fall upon. So they're the ones that have the issue. You see, those of us of the Hope Select, we want all of these judgments to happen because we want this place to get destroyed and we want the kingdom of heaven to be established. These simple people out here, all they know is whatever wicked kingdom they live in currently. They don't want the kingdom of heaven. They just, want their oppressor to like slightly take his foot off their neck. See, those of us of the hopeful elect, we want the oppressor wiped out. We want the oppressor's wicked kingdoms brought down. That's what we want. And the Lord understands that because he wants the same thing. You know, and the men of the Lord are constantly trying to explain that to these people, that they're never going to have peace so long as this wicked, these wicked kingdoms exist. As long as Esau is in rulership, there is never going to be peace. But, you say that and people will call you a racist and all of that. So it's like, you know what? Since y'all want to ride with Esau, you want to, continue to defend Esau, then y'all are going to go down right along with him. You're going to die with him. Good riddance to you. And some of those deaths very well may come from those storms and tempests that the Lord is about to unleash. So for all you sincere brothers and sisters, just stay locked in, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. And for all these wicked people out here, they just better prepare for their destruction. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, the water Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all our brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath, and shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah. Until next time, Shalom.